Ready to go whenever you want to be.
All right. All right. Well, let's do the call to order. So we call this meeting to order of the, oh, I don't have my gavel, but it's the Parks Advisory Board. There it is. Well, it's okay. We'll start with roll call.
Rhonda Ankeny.
Keith Cecil.
Roger Hitz.
Very good. And we'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Come on in.
How are you, Kelly?
Chapter 2.
Yeah, I'd like to say that. I'm really hectic at work right now.
All right, so has everybody had a chance to review the minutes from our last meeting? I'm gonna take that as a yes.
Yes.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. And I take it we've had a chance to review the budget. Any questions on the budget?
No.
Okay. All right, and starting with our old business. So the signage task force, I always forget, were you at the last signage task? Okay. Well, at any rate, I mean, it seems like it's kind of a real, whatever. Yes, sir.
And I suggest we
Sir.
switch the orders to our guests and leave the next.
We can. I appreciate that suggestion, Mr. Hitz. And we have a guest with us here. We want to go ahead and give you a moment to speak about the project you're proposing. We do have some notes here, I believe, regarding your project. Can you start with your name and your proposal?
My name is Scott Little with Troop 615, and I have a proposed picnic shelter for Windish Park.
All right. Get there, Scott. Just 1 second here.
Yep.
Sure that's it. There we go. And there's your name. All right. All right, tell us a little bit about the project.
So as I can see, you guys all have copies. The first opening page is mainly just where it would go. Me and my grandpa did all the survey work and found that the most level place to do it would be in the kind of corner of that playground.
Okay, and what has inspired you to bring about this project? And are you a building advocate, or it's?
I'm related.
Okay.
I'm the great grandson of Anita Windish.
Okay. Very good. Personal connection.
Yep.
Very good. I guess. Is there anything else you wanted to add, or?
I don't know if you guys also have this, but just basic SketchUps for the actual design. Yep. It is a 12 by 16 shelter with corrugated steel roofing.
Are you trying on putting a concrete floor in it?
That is definitely one of the things that I am looking into. I know that for the Indiana's requirements for building a standalone structure, it needs to be 3 feet deep because of the freezing line. So I think that putting concrete there would probably be the best idea, unless, of course, I'm open to suggestions.
I agree with the concrete. My only concern there is when you place the concrete, probably have to use a skid steer or bobcat or something, because we don't want the concrete trucks driving over the walk path.
Yeah, that's one of the main concerns with laying the concrete, and that's why I'm open to suggestions as getting it back there.
Like I say, skid steer, bobcat type machine, take it back a bucket at a time. And
Yeah, I could probably find some way to do that.
the other concern I have is before you dig your posts and stuff, you gotta make sure there's no water lines under there.
There is a water pit next to it, but of course, I will call 811, which is the line for digging services. They'll point out all of the water lines, power lines, stuff like that.
And you contact Bargersville Utilities.
Bargersville Utilities? Okay.
811 will contact the
Will
utility.
contact you.
Yep, so 811 is the correct.
Okay.
And who would be working on this with you? You said your grandfather, or who did you say would be working on this project with you, Scott?
Mostly the Scouts of Troop 615, led by myself. Of course, I'll get some more so qualified individuals to help out. But it's a volunteer project. And of course, I'd be giving it to the Bargersville community out of my own pocket. But of course, I'm going to fundraise for it. So.
Do you have an estimated date of completion or a target date that you would have?
It really all depends by when I get my approval from my Eagle Council. However, I'd say I'd be able to get it done by end of the summer. It's a rough estimate. Perhaps sooner.
And you said corrugated steel and concrete,
Yes.
and the posts, are those treated lumber, or is that cedar, or?
It really just depends on how much I'm able to fundraise in a set amount of time. Again, I need to get it approved to even figure out what I'm going to exactly get, because I'm not allowed to do that until I get it signed off by my council. However, in order to get it signed off by them, I need to get it signed off by James Rimmel, in which I'm here talking to you guys for recommendation to go to him on the 27th to get my beneficiary signature.
You've got the runaround, Scott, that's
That's what
why.
I was gonna tell you. We give our recommendation with town council stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, I highly doubt that you guys would want to put away a free shelter. So I was hoping that you did.
Any questions for Scott?
I think you mentioned that probably the ground and how it's level that's one of the better spots in the park.
Yes, that is the best spot. The whole point of the park is drainage. So to put it on the north side of the park, beyond the tree line, that's an open field. And last time I was here, you guys didn't want it. Of course, I was under a different council, but they said that they wanted it open for recreational activities.
I think, I like the spot personally. I think it's a good idea because when you play on that playground, the shelter's kind of off to the side, the one that's there now. It'd be kind of nice to have one a little bit closer as we get some feedback from the train. Yeah, no, I think that's a fine.
Yeah, I think so.
spot.
It's a nice place for the parents to
Right.
just
While
sit
you're
in the
watching
shade
your
while the kids
kids.
are playing.
And we talked about, understood you're not sure when your start time and end time is depending on your approval process,
That is correct.
but do you have an idea or have you estimated how long it might take? Is this a couple of days? Is it a few weeks? And the reason I ask is if we're doing it during the summer, that's the heavy usage time. So I just wouldn't want it to be something that impeded people from being able to use the park during the time they want to use it
If
most.
I can get my beneficiary signature on the 27th on the council board meeting, then I can take it up to my council and try to run through the process as quick as possible, and I can probably get it done in less than a month.
I do what you're gonna do and where you're gonna do it. You're not gonna interfere that much with walking trail or the playground equipment or that.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
correct.
yeah,
It's
it's there
gonna be
now.
out of the way really if it were to extend longer. Again, the main purpose of that park is drainage.
I'll give a,
Well, now it's fun, Scott.
I make a motion that we give a favorable recommendation to the town council for Scott to proceed with the shelter.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you for choosing us for your project, Scott.
Yep. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm sure you guys can all find my email somewhere somehow.
Okay.
And obviously, I would get a little bit, wrap this up a little bit tighter.
Yes, I still need to get
Right.
the council signed up. There's only so much I can do without signatures.
Just looking at some good groundwork already.
Thanks a bunch. Yeah.
Yep, thank you guys. Have a good day.
Thanks, Scott. I'll be in contact with you about the council.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so coming back to the signage task force, I was gonna offer you, but I'll let you talk on something else while I take this one, if that's okay, Ron.
Sure.
So we did meet, and discussed, the signage, proposal for, the locations, that there were 4 locations that we would supposedly put a sign in, or propose to put a sign at that, would have a look that would mimic the look that is being proposed for the interchange, is where we're kind of at this point. And so there would be a consistent look, kind of going throughout the course of the town. Be a little bit different, obviously, because the materials would be slightly different, but the concept would be the same. For example, the font and the brick at the bottom, as well as the metal material at the top. And my company actually does graphics, so we were going to mock up what that would look like for the next meeting, to get everybody's opinion on what the sign would actually look like in each of the locations. So that was kind of where we landed is, well, first of all, we were going to make sure that the signs could be positioned in the 4 locations we were looking at, which I wish I would have written that down. Do you remember that, Rhonda?
It's the north side on 135, the south side on 135, the roundabout,
The roundabout, yeah.
and then 2 Cent Road.
And so, once we get those mocked up, we would show everybody what that looks like and then reconvene in another month. So that was kind of where we landed, just to see, first of all, if we could put a sign in those areas, and then second of all, what it would look like if we were able to put a sign in those areas. So yeah, I mean, I don't know that there was a whole lot of progress other than that. Anybody have any questions on that? Not a whole lot to be said. We're still work in progress. So moving on to the certified playground inspector estimates. That Thank you, Bethany, for getting those. That's fantastic. Did you all have a chance to take a look at those estimates? One of them was substantially better than the other, if I recall.
My question here is on playground inspections. They don't really say a whole lot of what they're going to do, or the other one's detailed. But the other one's $2,000 more.
Right. I mean, it does kind of, on that second page, you're right, but they're licensed, obviously. It does say that they have the playground, they have the Public Playground Safety Handbook, publication 325, so they do reference, those guidelines. Our inspectors are certified by the International Playground Safety Institute, so they are certified, inspectors. So I would assume that what they would do would be based upon the guidelines of that institute, right?
Yeah, I didn't see this page on the.
Oh, on the second page.
Oh.
And just for a little background information on that, I contacted the manufacturer, or I looked on the manufacturer's website of the playground equipment, and I also contacted our local sales representative. The local sales representative recommended playground inspections, which is the $600 quote, and the equipment manufacturer had RecWise listed as someone to contact. And at first, I wasn't really sure where they were out of, so.
Okay, a long way, right, wasn't it?
It is, and I believe that probably travel has something to do with the quote as well, the amount of the quote. But both of them were recommended by the equipment manufacturers and things like that. So they wouldn't, I would think that they would not recommend someone that they think did unprofessional work,
Right.
so. And I also did investigate a little bit and noted that if we were to have somebody get inspected from the town, and that certification is a 3-year term. So they would have to recertify every 3 years, or we would have to have someone certify every 3 years, just as a follow-up.
Do you remember what that cost was? You said it was several days, right?
I believe it was around $600, if memory serves me right,
Probably plus continuing education units and that kind of cost as
if
well.
possible, yep.
Travel, food, if there's any of that involved, yeah. Okay. And then we start from scratch if they leave, right?
Right.
Okay.
My only other question on this is, should we include Switzer Park? Not much playground equipment there. Still, if something would happen, we'd be liable. There's no swing, the only thing, big thing is no swings, there's something to climb one fall off of, but.
Well, I think all of them should be, I mean, there's equipment all 3 sites, I think we should include that and home. Probably something would happen there and we inspected the other 2 parks, then that's a liability issue there.
I would agree with that. Is there a way that we could get that quote updated to see if they would be willing to?
Would you like me to contact both or one or the other?
Seems to me like just,
I'd say playgrounds.
yeah,
Okay,
I think with both of them being recommended by the manufacturer, that either is a safe bet, the other's farther away, and that's.
I don't want to break protocol, but it seems like it's kind of a no-brainer.
okay.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like the other one is providing any more of a service, it's just probably, like we mentioned, that it's distance and all that factored in, kind of level one would be best. And my opinion is, for this, I mean, is it 600 a year, is that what
I believe that would be per inspection.
per inspection,
Any yearly inspection.
Annual inspection.
annual inspection? I just think, I like doing stuff in-house when it makes sense, but if it has to be re-upped every 3 years, we have the risk of the person, moving, taking a different job. And then just the fact that, while they could do it more often, perhaps, it just doesn't make sense when you have somebody who does it all the time and they know what they're looking for. Kind of, to me, is appealing to have it and have that liability shifted to, do we know if they provide a certain amount of liability insurance or anything?
I can get that information as well.
I think that might be helpful, because if that is a lot of peace of mind just for the town, I would think, of letting the experts do it.
So something else to consider, I'm just sort of presuming this, but how long would it take, did they say anything about what the lead time is on getting us worked in?
He did, and if I could get to my email, I could tell you
Okay,
what that
okay.
was, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
Are we talking
I mean,
weeks,
believe-
months?
I believe it was just going to be a couple of weeks.
Okay,
I
okay,
don't think it was a very
Okay.
extended period of time.
that's fair. I was gonna say, if it was like 2 months, we might as well go ahead and vote on it. But we can probably table it to the next meeting if it's just a couple weeks.
That was gonna be my question is, do you wanna approve it,
Conditional.
conditionally
Okay,
with her getting that?
really, I'll make a motion on that.
I'm
I
just
got it, I
asking
got it in my mind, so.
how you would like to proceed.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve Playground Inspections Incorporated vote for Wendy's Park and Witt Park, but to include Switzer Park at no more than $900 for the three. I don't think it'll be that much, but 600, by 2 is 300.
Right, that's fair. Not to exceed. Anybody have a second? Second that?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Right.
Aye. All right. Thank you, Bethany, for putting that together.
Well,
Okay, Switzer Park shelter roof. So I'm assuming based on this that the roof is repaired.
roof was repaired, no materials were needed. He had equipment and materials to take care of the repair, so
Okay,
just the time
outstanding.
spent for it.
Very good. I'm sure I gotta get over there and see what he did. I had an idea what he might do, but, okay, very
You
good.
put a new board under.
Piece underneath of it, yep,
underneath of it.
yep,
A new single.
and a new sheet on top. Awesome, very good.
He's one thing I may bring up, is I noticed on the rec wise list,
Mhm.
they've got playground safety tips. And it says, break and maintain safety mulching weekly. Wonder, that's something we should start doing, because you know how big that divot's got.
Yeah.
And, green trees mulched all the playgrounds now and filled in all the low spots. So, something, I don't know, we maybe want to do that when we do our weekly inspections, is take a rake with us and
Trying to keep it, yeah. Anybody have a thought on that?
That's, not to get as deep as what we got last time.
Right. So it is hard to, so as a kid, right, when you're swinging, it's not as much fun if you can't get going, right? I mean, I'm sorry, I'm talking like a kid, right? And if they don't have the divot, then they can't swing.
Unless
I-
you raise their legs.
Well, yeah, that's a tough call there. Yeah, I mean, I know we don't want to get into this, but I think we either have too much mulch, we need to raise the swings up. I mean, I hate to say that, but, or dig down to, I don't know what the solution is, but I'm afraid that if we keep covering those back over, it could cause more injury. We could have more of a risk for injury if we rake those back over and they're, somebody swinging and gets their foot caught and flips over, I don't know, what do you guys think? It's just what's running through my head, I'm spitballing here.
I kind of looked into it, just an internet search, and to me, it would seem best to put down the rubber mat to where there's no mulch there, but they seem to advise against that because it created a hard surface rather than a mulch surface or a softer surface.
And to that point, I will actually say this, I have a parenting moment that I can reference that. So my son actually tried to, I'm sure we've all had an opportunity to jump off of a flying swing, right? So he actually went off and came down, broke both of his wrists at school, both of them. He was 7 at the time, and on one of them, the growth plate went out, and it was like $20,000 of surgery.
Sure.
So, I'm just saying,
Was that a mulch landing or a padded?
that was the upgraded padded landing. So it's just my personal opinion. I'm not opposed to the mulch. I'm sure there's research out there that says we should go the other way, but I don't know that that's the only solution just from my personal experience. And it may not have been the reason why his wrist broke, but,
Well, that may be something that the inspector addresses as well. So, I don't know how comfortable you are with waiting until the parks are inspected to do something about it, but that may be something that they address, or I can say, this is something that we had a question about when you're doing an inspection. Can you give us your advice on this?
yeah, that's fair.
I agree with Wayne, because it took 2 years to get them as deep as they were.
Okay.
And, like you said, this says weekly raking, but I don't know that it really needs to be weekly either.
Yeah,
Just maybe a couple times a year.
yeah.
I think you could say that, and you could do it today and tomorrow, and kid goes over there, and it's
It'll be
not,
done,
it's not
yeah.
something that's gonna be
Yeah.
Right.
managed on a daily basis, so just gotta figure out what the best solution is.
I haven't made it back to Witt since last week, so I don't know if that's divvied it out anymore now or not, but Wendy's will just put that down today, so.
Okay, good. All right, well, we'll need to see, hopefully we can get that going pretty quickly then. How about so we got Scott, and then the resident request for trees in Windish. Bethany, did you put that item on
I did. I
okay.
spoke with Mr. Windish. He lives basically kind of the northwest corner of the park
Okay,
where the fence line is, to make it that L shape. He stated that a few years ago, there was a walnut tree or another type of tree that was at the southwest corner of that property, on the park property, that was cut down. And he would like for the Parks Board to consider planting a couple of trees in the park to create a little bit more of a barrier between the park and his property. Anything else?
I'm trying to picture it. Is there an established fence line there?
There is,
It's a privacy fence.
so here,
The
we'll use
wood privacy fence.
Mr. Little's example of park. So it would be, this is the Windish property right here, his property, and the tree was basically in this area right here.
yeah,
If you go in there by the Pergola, there's
close to the owl, yeah.
the,
Or eagle, sorry, the owl, the eagle.
it's a
I'm
little
sorry.
bit this way of the eagle.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
you can see a stump there,
okay.
for the old, and it's close to a couple other trees now. We could get a couple trees in there. My suggestion would be to table this till, say, July, because this is not a good time to plant trees. But by the time they get them, summer you have to water
Burn them
them
up, yeah,
at least once a week, if not twice a week.
okay.
So table till July, so we can see then how much money we got in our budget, because we got a tight budget this year.
Yeah.
And then in July, we could get them for,
The fall,
September, October,
right?
planting.
I'd like to just, when I go to inspect, just look and refresh, like what it looks like and stuff, so if we do, table it, then that'll give us a chance to kind of look at it and think through that. And I also think, it could be something too, if it's like funding wise, we could think about, if it makes sense to plant two, we plant one, and then maybe look to plant something then, the next year if we don't have the money, but I think every point you make is good, that I'd like to go back over there and just look.
And if we do it next year, we could always put money in the budget for it for next year. Plus, at the same time, we're gonna plant those two trees, we ought to replace that dead pine tree.
Right, so having like a plan and going out and seeing it with my own eyes again, and we can kind of talk through that.
Okay, I think that sounds great. We okay to make that note in there? Excellent.
So we need a,
We need a motion.
table it.
We don't need-
Technically, we do. I move that we table the new trees at Windish Park till, July meeting.
We have a second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor to move the tabling of the resident request for the Windish Park trees to July? Say aye.
Aye.
Right.
Aye. All right. Okay, so we have, the town council requested a dog waste station to be installed at Witt Park. Bethany, sounds like you've got that rolling there.
Yes, so there's an item in your packet. It's very similar to the one at Windish Park, not identical.
Yep.
The company that we ordered them from previously was wanting to charge about, it ended up being with freight around $850 per unit, which I thought was very extravagant. So I decided to take a look, and this is what, a design that's similar and costs significantly less, and the shipping is free on it as well. So that is what I'm proposing that we install there.
One thing I can't see on this picture, but you know what the sign says on top?
I do, I believe it's something about keeping your dogs, or cleaning up after your dogs, but let me check real quick.
This has gone through town council, right? So is there anything really for us to do? There's this,
Unless you guys are opposed to
Unless, yeah.
the installation at that park.
do we need we just move on to the next item?
Well,
Okay.
one thing to notice though, I think, that's just what it says.
It says pet waste leash and clean up after your pet. Keep this area clean.
Okay, it does say leash. That was my concern, that putting it there is gonna invite people to bring their dogs in.
There's also the list of park rules when you come in that says all pets must be leashed or all dogs must be leashed. So it does say that on the park rules as you enter the park area already.
And I know at Wendy's, we got another sign, and put up another sign that said, leash your dogs. And they still don't look at it.
So do we need a motion to authorize purchase of this?
I think they already did. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, council,
The
council pretty much.
And then we
Alright.
report to them, so
That's a good deal.
they're just
Informational.
sort of telling us what we're doing, yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, no, that's what it is.
It's not. in the
All right.
budget.
Yeah, all right, it's not in the budget, sorry. Okay, so moving on to the Founder's Fountain renaming. Ron, do you want to give us an update on the Founder's Fountain?
I made the presentation last Tuesday night, and they were receptive to changing the name. Or I felt like they were, they didn't say no, so that's a good sign. And they seemed in favor of the word commons in the name. They were a little hesitant, or I felt some hesitancy on the word legacy. But they asked, or they said that they would table it and discuss it at the next meeting, I believe, was the date that they, or the idea that they gave, that they would reconsider it at the next meeting. So we made some progress.
Good.
And they did indicate that they felt like the word commons would be in it, and they felt shorter was better. So I think it's whether or not legacy will be acceptable. So in the meantime, we may want to at least think of alternatives to legacy, or wait and see what they may recommend as a name change.
Okay. So common, it was the two that changed was commons and plaza.
Correct.
So it's really a legacy or community are the two interchanged. So they were thinking community commons then?
I don't remember any conversation about the word community, so I don't know. Because we offered Legacy Plaza, and then we offered Legacy and Community Plaza Commons. And,
Oh, that's right. Okay.
so I felt like they didn't believe we needed to add the and community. They preferred a shorter name, but I don't know
But
that
not
community isn't something that they aren't considering.
Okay. Well, then I guess we will, it might not be a bad idea to, when is the next one that we could attend, maybe to hear what it is that they confirm, or is that penciled into the next town council agenda at all there?
The next council meeting would be the 27th at 1 o'clock. And I don't have my council notes with me to see if they requested for the next council meeting or the next night meeting.
Okay.
I don't remember. I listened in, but I don't remember what they said.
I don't think they gave
I don't think they gave
an
a,
actual date.
so if they just said, continue it to the next meeting, then the next meeting would be the 27th at 1 o'clock.
Okay. Well, I will try to print that.
Do you recommend that we be available for that meeting? Or will we have any advanced notice?
I will talk to James and see if that needs to be added to the agenda. 'Cause Bethany's the one that would be adding it to the council agenda here.
Okay. So then you can let us know. Okay.
So she can let
As
you,
soon as I know, you'll know.
Okay.
she'll let you know if it gets submitted.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say, I know Ron's more knowledgeable on the ideas and stuff, but I would be available for that meeting.
I would just be curious what they, so we
Since
can have some report
I'm
back.
retired.
All right, good. I like it. All right, very good. That sounds excellent. Okay, and the website, I know, Kelly, I think you were gonna look into that. Did we have any, movement on the website at all?
I don't know how much movement. I've kind of looked at it. I agree, and I don't mean this in any negative way at all. I think the whole town website is outdated and old and kind of stale. Is that the right word? Again, not trying to be negative, but it serves its purpose and it has information there. I know even when I was interested in trying to become a part of this, it seems like sometimes you kind of gotta go around the horn to find what you need. So I almost feel like a site map or kind of a redesign of how you get to things and how it's organized. And again, I know it was just the parks part, but it was kind of an overall kind of opinion piece. I also looked at the brochure that we have, and I think it again serves its purpose, but it's just not inspiring. So I think we need like a redesign on a brochure if we're gonna have one. I think it shows some pictures of the park on the website, and I think the brochure, they're not real crisp or good, high quality images. And I think if we did something like that, and then also, I just didn't feel like there was a lot of pictures of people enjoying the park. And so that's what makes me think, it's kind of like a ho-hum as far as wanting to, if we're trying to celebrate our parks, we want people to feel good about what they look like. So I think the brochure could be revamped, as well as maybe, I think any of us can go, we all have nice cameras on our phone, but perhaps see what it might cost to have, professional photographer, maybe take some photos if you're wanting to use it in brochure materials so that it's high quality when you reproduce it. I also thought that each park deserves its, like a listing of the parks would not be nice, but maybe each park have its own page where you could flesh it out a little bit and it wouldn't be like page 7 of looking through things. I like the history of how the parks were named, but I think even visually, if it was, a paragraph about the history and then below what the amenities were bullet points so people can see it quickly, it's above the cut line. I think that's part of a lot of static scroll, it's like a page and you're scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and that's not really how users interact with websites nowadays. So I think having concise content on more pages makes it easier for the user. And one thing I did not get to is, and I should have, and I didn't even think about it really until I was driving home today, thinking about this meeting, whether or not our website, whether it's the park stuff or the full website, how it does on a mobile version. I don't even know if I've looked mobilely. So if that's not, I know ones that were created a while back, changes in how people consume that type of information is often by a mobile phone. So that's probably something I fell short on for this meeting. I think we probably need to look through that as well if we're talking about trying to revamp or redesign. But it made me think of this, like when you have to scroll 7 pages to look through all your parks,
Sure.
that's probably not coming up well on a mobile device either. So that's something I should need to do. But, the pictures are here, they're like farther away, they're not in good, the pixel quality, whatever, is not, I think we could get pictures that might be better. And then our future projects, and I know I didn't print when I clicked through, but I think if we're getting closer on things for Kephart Park, to be very honest, we drive by and my kids are like, when are they gonna make that park? Kind of thing, you know what I mean? And I know that takes a long time, but if we are able to do updates on, or where we're at, or if there's new developments or those kinds of things, I think when people go back to the website, if there's new content, then they're more apt to spend time and kind of look through it. So I just felt like it seemed somewhat static. And as we're, as a town growing and trying to be more up to date and modern,
Yeah.
and we're growing in our image, that I think a website in this day and age, 5 years ago, it was something that you kind of had, but now it's very important to your brand and your image. So those are just some of my input, and I haven't redesigned it or done any of those types of things.
Still early, okay.
Right. So, but I think, like you said, making things above the cut lines, you're not scrolling, and links and bullet points to each park to have their own page, I think would go a long way. And then I know that whether it's the new shelter that we may be getting through the Scout project or what's already available, having things like, if it's first come, first served basis, like that's what people, like as a parent, I'd be like, hey, I'd like to have a birthday party there, can I rent that? Just making sure that type of information is readily available for the consumer, I think is also helpful.
Awesome. So next steps, what are we thinking next on it? Just kind of keep,
Well, I guess it just depends what our role is within the greater website. I mean, if there's a plan or not of the whole town website being updated, are they just looking for content updates, or, so I'm not clear exactly.
I don't know that right now we're looking to do a full revamp,
Right.
but, if there, when you mentioned that, you'd like each park to have its own page or different things like that. Those types of things can be done. We just don't have somebody to go through and like redo the
Redesign.
redo the content for each department. So if there are park-specific things that you folks feel would be beneficial, basically if we have a mock-up or a, new text that you want dropped into, a page or those edits can be done.
Is that via Microsoft Word? Is that the best way, or some kind of word processor?
Yeah, if you have like text in Word, then, we can drop it into the website.
Gotcha.
Okay, well, I can kind of work on maybe kind of a landing page and then links that might go off of that and then just copy and paste and kind of.
Yeah, and if you have like, you want, you want a landing page and then you want a Windish and a Switzer, like, you want these links off of it and, each one of those needs to look like,
Right, okay.
The same. That's how we started to get where we are.
Okay.
And kind of handed those to the person that manages that and
Yeah, well, I think it's a great
Try and move
start.
forward.
And we can't solve the world in a day with the website, but it's good to actually chip and play. That's awesome.
it's good to update sections and.
Yeah. Can we do, is that an option to like maybe update it a little bit at a time?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe. All right. Very
Okay, I'll
good.
work on that, like a landing page. We kind of feel like all of these different sections, if we could put on the landing page, like brief description, but then there's a link to that, and then we can flesh it out a little more on each of those pages, whether it's the, each park or the plan or, the future projects plan or whatever. I think we can just kind of make it.
And reorganize it.
Yeah, a little bit. A lot of the stuff that's already in there is good stuff, it's just navigating and how people consume it.
Yeah, I had a course and they said that most readers today will read about 3 sentences and they're done.
Yeah.
So anything more than that.
Brief, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just incredible.
Okay, so I'll work on that landing page, and I think, when is our next meeting? I think it's on our agenda.
May
May
15th.
17th.
I am not gonna be able to be here for that meeting. I'm gonna be out of town for work, I'll be in North Carolina. So maybe it could be,
An email her?
yeah, I can email some stuff between now and then, and then if we need to like kind of discuss or present or something, we might wanna do that on the, June meeting.
Awesome. All right. Very good. Anybody have anything else for the meeting?
I know it's a late edition, but
That's right, yeah, we did, we missed that.
we're gonna have a great Park West.
So that was just a quick thing that I got today.
Yeah.
They are going to be partnering with Johnson County Public Library and, like it says in the little description, each week they're gonna feature different parks in different parts of the county. So they're thinking the 3rd week of June, they would focus on Bargersville parks. And I don't know exactly how all of this works. But it's something that they do with the app with the public libraries, and they look for the golden nugget. So there are clues, and then once they find the golden nugget, then they submit something and the clue from it and are in a drawing for some prize. So, but it's just a way for kids and families to get to different parks in the county and get outside and enjoy our parks. So if you have any questions about it, I'm in contact with one of the organizers and can just relay any information.
In
So
other
that's
words,
just
they're doing it all, we don't have to do anything.
correct. They just said this is just a way so that you know that there will be increased traffic during the park, in the park during that period of time.
Awesome.
Which may be good.
Thank you.
Get more people to come out. Is that all the parks or just?
I'm not 100% sure. I would say they
The
would
good one
probably.
would be Founder's Fountain, and if you find it in the first place, then.
Right,
You can
double
always-
points, double points for finding it.
Put the nugget out here and I'll send it on.
Okay. All right.
It's on GPS and it's that thing where it says you just passed it.
Yeah, wait a minute. That's awesome. Okay. Very good. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right.
Oh, yes.
All in
You
favor?
want to stay?
Aye.
I thought you did second it.
Motion adjourned. Sounds like fun. I'm gonna take part on that, I think.
We were secondary on.
I'm gonna-
Yeah.
So maybe if I can get something kind of mocked up.
There's a park down in,
To find out.
Trafalgar that I've been wanting to get